Guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. This is Tristan with Lawson's Car Reviews, and today I have my brother's very own Range Rover Sport. This is the TDV, which basically means the turbo diesel V6, and he has had this car for, oh my gosh, for ages. So let's go ahead and take a look at it and see what you guys think of it. I've been waiting to drive this one for a very long time. What's good, YouTube? This hood is really light. Giddy up! So, like I said, this is the TDV6, and this is a little bit of a rush review because I've been back in England for my stepdad's funeral, unfortunately, and this is the first time that I'm driving his Range Rover. The other car that I reviewed on his channel is actually the 2018 5 Series BMW with the M package, but this was the first baby that he bought. So this is a 2005, and I think he bought it in like 2009, somewhere around there. So it was a good few years old when he bought it, but this is his baby, and as everybody knows, Range Rovers typically aren't really that reliable. So I've been telling him, you probably are going to need to replace this thing soon, but because this is his first like halo car that he bought, that he was really wanting to get since he was a kid. I remember him talking about getting a Range Rover forever. Then it's very difficult to let your baby go when this was like your first dream car that you were able to purchase. So hopefully it doesn't cost him too much in maintenance costs, which he's already paid actually quite a bit in doing that. But this one came with the different wheels, so I don't think these are the wheels that these typically come with. These come on the supercharged version, so I think that it does give the car a much nicer look, way better than the standard wheels that usually come on the base model Range Rover Sports. But let's take a look around it. It's definitely big and imposing. It feels like it's bigger than my Acura MDX that we have in the States, but I'm not all the way sure if it is based on the dimensions. But if you take a look at the front, it's definitely got that old school Range Rover styling. It's kind of funny because his headlights are not that yellowed, even though I know he hasn't ever done a clean on it. He needs to, but what you can see is the yellowing on the grille. So that definitely feels like it's a bit lower quality. The Range Rover badge is also kind of fading a little bit. And then this is supposed to be green, and that's all the way faded too. So it's funny how some of these cars cost so much when you originally get them, but then as time goes on and materials improve, you start to realize that some of these companies actually didn't use the highest materials when it comes from when you're thinking about a quality standpoint. But the same thing on this little side vent. Used to just be all silver, but now you can see that it's yellowed on top. I don't think these things are too bad to replace. You can probably get them online somewhere. To me, it looks like this grille is functional, because it goes all the way through, so it doesn't look like it's a fake vent. And then as you can see, his wheels they're pretty big. They are a little bit tore up. You can see he's had these road rash and whatever, but if you know anything about England, you'll realize that you've actually got to park on the curb a lot, just because the roads are so much smaller. So since that's the case, you will actually mess up a lot of your wheels. So these are 285, so pretty wide, on a 35 sidewall, and then they're on a 22-inch rim, which I think that the 22-inch rims look a lot better than if they was 20-inch rims, especially on a car this big. I think the rear wheels came already standard tinted, and I told him that he should tint the front ones because it kind of would give the car that gangster, old school, early 2000 like drug dealer vibes. Which is probably why he didn't tint it, so that he doesn't get stopped all the time. Because back in the day, things were a little different in England when it came to getting stopped. But yeah, 22-inch rims, man, that's pretty big. You've got these running boards as well, so that you can actually step up into the car, and unlike a lot of American trucks, these have actually not rusted out. It does feel metal, but they're pretty good looking. If I open it up, you can see the board. It's still in really good shape actually. So I quite like that on this car. And then obviously it's black. I don't really know what you know, if the fence got fancy names for black now, but I don't know what you would actually call that particular one. But you can see it's got the dual outlet exhaust. You got the Range Rover, or I should say the Land Rover badge on the back, and then you've got the Sport symbol right there. And on these cars, it can tow quite a bit, so I believe it can tow up to 7,700 pounds, as well as being able to tow up to 7,700 pounds. The car weighs about 5,400 pounds, so it's not super heavy. I mean, it's definitely lighter than like the new Dodge Chargers and stuff like that, I think, the electric ones. And fuel capacity was rated at something quite decent. It says online when it first came out that its combined gas mileage was 27 miles to the gallon. It says that it does 33 on the highway and I think 21 in the city, something like that. But my brother confirmed that that is complete bollocks. He said it nowhere near gets that amount of gas mileage, so I believe him, because I mean, look how big the vehicle is, and it's only got a 2.7 in it. I mean, maybe it did, but I feel like the ratings scale back then was a little bit different. The cargo space, which I'm embarrassed to show you because it's got all kinds of crap in it, but this is just lifting the top part. So this part here, which it's full, I'm gonna have to move it because it's taking me to the airport in this, but it is 33 cubic feet of space. And then if you open up the whole hatch, which I'm not even going to do today because it's too messy, but if you drop the seat and open everything up, then it goes up to 71 cubic feet of storage space, which isn't bad, especially you know, for a car back then. Decent room in the back, definitely plenty of leg room. You've got these very high quality leather seats, which they're still in very good condition actually. And then you've got the mat pocket back here, and then you've even got some vents in the back too. Sorry if it's a little bit dark, but guess what? England is very foggy at 6 a.m. in the morning, so I don't really have much of a choice. But let me hop in to show you how much leg room I've got. So this is me sitting behind myself with the seat pretty much all the way back. So I still got a decent amount of leg room. Remember, I'm 6'4", so the regular person won't have the seat back so far. So you can fit 3 children back here. If it's just adults, I would say that there's room for 2 large adults and a small child in the middle. If you look at the interior, I love the styling of the old Range Rover and Land Rover's steering wheels. Very nice, very beefy, very thick. This center compartment's kind of cool. And these armrests, I really like them. My brother always keeps them up, but they look like they're kind of a decent thickness for this style armrest. Most of the time, he keeps this up and then he just rests his arm on here. I apologize about the mess. Dude has got crap everywhere. This is not how I keep my cars, but you know, I forgive my older brother for that. I mean, he's got water bottles, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of junk back here, so I'm gonna have to clean it before I go out to the airport in it. Roof liner is still in good condition. It's not dripping down. Oh wait, it's drooping down a little bit there. I don't know if he's even noticed that, but the rest of it is not bad. There is some back here. This is coming loose a little bit. Probably stuff that he's not noticed, but the rest of the interior is held up pretty well. Let me jump to the front and show you what it looks like in the front here. So on the passenger side, looking at the door pockets, love the styling. It's basically just all black, but it's a little bit two-tone when it comes to the grab handle being like a metallic grey color, and then the door handle or the door opener being grey. Got these lovely weather floor mats, seat, No rips, no nothing in either seat, and we're talking about a car that's over 20 years old, so that kind of shows you the quality of the leather in the seats. And then the dash feels like it's actually the kind of material that's built to last. So I like that. It doesn't feel super high quality to the touch, but over time you probably would prefer this because it's just going to last a lot longer. Same with everything here. It's the same kind of feeling material. The heat and the air and everything still works. He does have some issues with the car. Look at that. Actually, that's a tiny compartment in the middle. Now, back in the day, that probably was acceptable, but now that would be considered really small. This does have an electronic parking brake, which is kind of cool for a 2005. Automatic transmission, which I don't remember how many speeds it is and I don't have the internet on my England phone to look it up, so I apologize about that. But you can see that even back then it had the dual climate control, and he had one of these old school Bluetooth systems set up so that he could Bluetooth his phone, because remember 2005 a lot of cars didn't have that, so I think that was installed afterwards. But yeah, and the radio is just so-so. It's not necessarily the best. And then you've got a little cubby area up here for storage. And then let me move over to the driver's side. Looking lovely. If you turn the lights on, it's just that old school green color. Yeah, but the lights are manual as well, so no automatic lights on this one. All right, guys, so we're gonna actually go and take this for a spin. I'm not gonna pop the hood and look underneath it because there's some kind of issue that he's got with the hood latch. The other issue that he's got is, I think it's a wheel bearing because there's some squealing. I don't think it's a belt. You'll never guess what. Let me show you this too. I was setting up my GoPro to obviously do the driving portion, and I dropped it and I literally totally cracked the screen. And I've had this GoPro for about 4 years, so I probably was overdue for a new one, but I guess that is God showing me that I should have already replaced it. So I'm going to be holding my camera and driving, which is illegal in England, but I'm doing it for you, so you better like and subscribe to the channel. Oh, by the way, this is my first video with my official Lawson's Car Reviews polo, so let me know in the comments what you think about it, if you like it or not. But let's go ahead and take this super duper powerful 186 horsepower Range Rover Sport for a spin. This is not the first Range Rover that I've driven on this channel. I've actually driven a new one a few years back. What was it, 2019? And it was okay, but it did have some issues, especially with build quality. This really doesn't make any what's the word, any squeaks or rattles on the interior, but that brand new one that I drove, it only had, I think, 4,000 miles on it. It was squeaking and squealing and rattling everywhere, and I was like, what the heck? Granted, it was a rental, but I don't care. When it's only got 4,000 to 5,000 miles on it, it's supposed to last a lot longer than that before the interior starts making all kinds of weird noises. All right, so I'm just taking it on these back roads. I'm not going to take it on the motorway because it takes a while to get to the motorway from where I'm at right now. But I will say that it actually drives fairly smooth, and the power for its age, it feels, I would say it actually feels like it's more powerful than what the numbers are suggesting, which is kind of strange, but it makes sense. I mean, really, I think because the torque on this, it's 325, it makes it feel more powerful low down, because the torque actually kicks in quite low down in this car. So I do like that, because I think a car, I keep saying car, an SUV this size, it would kind of be a little bit depressing if the torque wasn't as high as what it was, because you need that torque to be able to get it moving when the car weighs over 5,000 pounds. So far I'm actually really impressed with the way that it drives. The steering, I kind of figured after so much time that there'd be some shake or some wobble in the steering, but it's actually very smooth. And I even think, considering on a car this big, on tires that are, on wheels that are 22 inches, and the tires are only 35 millimeter on the sidewall, which I think is even thinner than the ones on my Camaro. I think mine are maybe 40 millimeter on the sidewall off the top of my head. But you know, when you've got that thin tire, that thin layer, usually it will ride a little bit more rough. But in this one, it actually rides pretty smooth. So I'm kind of thinking, if he had the smaller wheels with the thicker tires, the ones that aren't so sporty, that it probably would actually ride even smoother. So that is impressive. You can tell that it's a diesel because it does have that old diesely engine sound, but that actually doesn't bother me at all. I actually quite like it. So that's, for some people that might be a little bit of an issue. And the other thing I'll say is, these seats are actually really big. They seem like they're made for American sized people, not English sized people, which are probably a little bit smaller, if you catch my drift. But yeah, super comfortable on the seats. And I'm really surprised that he's had it so long and that there's no rips or, you know, kind of like no major tears in the fabric. Because even in my Volkswagen, which is a 2014, decent leather seats, but there is a rip in the seats already. So big difference there. But yeah, overall, seats are comfortable. Driving position is actually really nice. Even though I would say that this is a similar size to my Acura MDX, this definitely feels more imposing on the road. Not because it's wider or anything, but just because I think you sit a lot higher up in this car. So you feel like you're looking down on everybody, which I really, really like. But anyway, this was just a really quick review at 6 a.m. in the morning before I have to go get my plane to go back to America. So I'm going to leave up my Lawson score on the screen. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.